Thank you for joining us on Worldwide Slot Car Chat. This is number 78. I'm your host, Greg Gaub. We got a good gang going here. We got Petrucci, Jim, John, Martin, John, three Johns, right in a little triangle on my screen here. Big Den, Chris Walker, Dr. Ray, all kinds of wonderful people to chat about slot cars. Today we are going to do the drawings for the two contests for the MR slot car Porsche 911 GT1 Evo, as well as the tire razor sanding plate reciprocation machine. But we'll take care of those later so that you can't just watch now and then stop, because I want you to watch, and I want you to subscribe, and I want you to like, and I want you to comment, yada yada, you know, walla walla bing bang, just like all the other YouTubers say, because that allows us to accrue additional ad revenue and do more contests. And that's why we had this Porsche 911 GT1 Evo contest, and I had, you know, a good 20 or some entries, and I did my absolute very best to track every single person who commented with the keyword of razor for the Porsche 911 contest. And interestingly enough, and I still don't know why YouTube does this, but most of the time I get an email when someone posts a comment, regardless of the content of the comment. I get an email notification with the comment in it. And so I saw people commenting with the, you know, the keyword and whatnot. Jeremy did a fantastic job of using the word razor as an acronym in various parts of his comment, but it disappeared. There were no links or triggers that I was aware of that would have caused his comment to disappear. Sometimes that happens if somebody puts a link in their comment. Only the owner of the channel can put a link into a comment. So those are often automatically deleted by YouTube. But his comment didn't have any of that, and it just disappeared. But I had gotten the email, and so I was putting names into my list when I got the email. But then yesterday, and I'll probably do this, you know, while other people are doing other things, just in case somebody else comments, I went back to the video itself and I looked at all the comments and made sure that all the comments that were in the video, I had people, you know, had those people in my list, and I found 2 or 3 that I had not gotten email notifications for. Maybe they found their way into my spam folder or something. I don't know. But just to say, I did my absolute best to make sure I got everybody's name in the list. So I apologize to anybody who thought they got a comment in, you know, and thought they had entered, and for whatever reason I never got an email and it disappeared from the YouTube and you didn't get entered. So I apologize in advance if that happened.
Good for you for reconciling them. Good, well done. Thank you.
You know, I don't do the bills, but you know, I know how to reconcile lists. But we'll see how that works out. The tire razor contest was significantly easier because to enter, you send me a picture of your tire razor. So there was a lot fewer to have to worry about for that one. So with that out of the way, we'll actually draw the names later on in the video at some random time so that you can't just stop watching now. To start off, we will do show and tell as we normally do. Petrucci was practicing his hand. There we go. He's got his hand up. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Petrucci. What you got for show and tell today? You're still muted, so be sure and unmute yourself.
There we go.
There you go.
Before my 3D printer packed up, I did try to print a body, and that's...
Oh no. That's as far as you got, huh?
That's as far as I got.
It looks like it came away from the build plate, and so it just kind of kept moving around, and yeah.
So that's that one.
What else you got?
It's light anyway.
Yeah, it's a convertible.
It's a Porsche.
It was going to be a Porsche.
Speeder.
Speedster, yeah.
Speeder, supposed to be a Porsche.
Well, hopefully you get that fixed.
I did it. I did your.
Did the machine?
Your file with the tile thing. I'm just trying to figure out how to screw it together.
Well, do you have all the screws?
No, I don't have any screws.
Oh, well, don't screw that part in until you've got the other parts screwed together.
Will self tappers be okay?
Oh yeah, I didn't do any threads, so as long as it taps in and the head doesn't protrude too much, you're fine. Yeah, I designed the screw holes for M3 metric screws for most of the contraption, so that the holes are just smaller than the screw, so they tap into the plastic. And then the tiny little M1.6 or whatever screws for the motor, I also use the same screw to secure the little arm to the motor. So you need 3 of those teeny little screws, and then you need some M3.
Where do I find the little tiny screws for the motor?
I bought a pack of them on Amazon. You just got to search for the right size and get them.
You can only get them on Amazon.
That's where I got mine. Hopefully you can get them over there too. Otherwise, AliExpress or McMaster Car or something like that.
eBay.
eBay, yeah, for sure, yeah. But if you need extra help, putting that thing together later on, I'll be happy to talk you through it.
Okay.
Once you get all the hardware, it's pretty straightforward.
Well, I've got all the other little bits and pieces here.
You got the motor.
I've got the motor in the drawer, but all these little bits.
Oh yeah, the printed bits.
Yeah, but this little one here.
Yeah, that you glue that onto the end of the sanding plate.
I had trouble trying to print this one out.
Oh no.
Because when I got it on the file, it come out that way.
I tried to. I mean, that one can be printed a variety of ways. I usually print it so that the long side of the flat bit is on the bed and then the ball sticks out. But then you got to put supports under that.
But eventually, I got it done.
Yep.
I got it all these little bits done. I did extra ones of these little things as well.
It's never a bad idea to have extras.
And I got this.
Oh, chassis.
Chassis, I had a go at that. And for some reason, I ended up
starting another one.
When I first printed, I thought to myself, no, that's not right. Anyway, I've got it all sorted in the end.
All right. You definitely need to show us once you get it all put together. You have anything else to show and tell us today, Petrucci?
No, nothing else. Oh,
all righty.
A few cars come. Hold on. I've got that one there.
Oh, the sideways GT?
Yep, that's that one.
Oh, and the Corvette.
Yeah, that's a Skull Auto. Another Skull Auto.
Porsche?
Petrucci, you must give your postman a hernia.
No, he's quite happy delivering. And the Mercedes.
Nice set of cars. Just need to get them on a track now.
Yeah, and there's another one here. The Ford GTE or whatever.
Oh, white kit. Yep.
White one. That's me done.
There you go. Lots of things to do and play with.
Yeah.
All right. Did anybody have any questions for Petrucci before we move on to John for his show and tell? Hearing none, John, take it away.
Okay, so I hope you guys aren't getting tired of the updates of Greg's 935 here.
I know I'm not.
and since you're back with us, I just thought I'd show you that I've just got I'm hoping the last layer of putty that needs to be sanded down for the I guess the connection to of the fenders to the body. So it seems to be coming along quite nicely. I actually, if you're there, I tried the Tamiya again on top of the body filler, and it seems to work quite well. So hopefully it'll shape out really, really nicely. But I just put that on, and it's actually curing as we speak. And I also put on the, as you can see, I covered up there was a fuel filler hole here that was on the RSR, but not on the 935 that we have. And I also put the undersills on. So again, this is from the actual model kit, and then fit them to where we've spliced in our Scalextric's rear end. And I did that for each side, and it's actually going to be quite nice. I think it'll join up quite nicely, which is really encouraging, actually.
Looking good.
So far, so good. Yeah. And not to worry, this undercut will be cast in. I should confer with you, Chris, and I guess if Dennis joins us at some point, how much of an undercut you guys want, because I can actually move that. If you guys want the whole undercut, I can leave it. If not, I can trim it a wee bit. So just that's something to sort of think about what you'd like. But I kind of like the undercut here. It looks kind of cool. But it's whatever you folks want to have for the chassis that you're going to build.
Maybe leave the full undercut in for your molding process, and then whoever does the paint and the final processing can cut as needed.
That's a great idea. Yep, that absolutely. So that's the Porsche 935. I have one more thing to show that if you just give me one moment here, I'll open up another file. And it's the RSK. I wanted to show you the sort of the progression of the RSK so far as well, if you folks are interested. And the other thing that I wanted to show too is if anybody here remembers the Eldon RSK, because you used to get the RSK with, I think, some sort of Ferrari that Eldon had, and they were a wee bit oversized. And just to show you how much they were oversized, that oversizing slot cars is nothing new. Look at the size of this thing. It's almost like 1/24th scale when you put it beside the Strombecker.
Wow.
The nice thing about the Eldon, though, is it has a nice representation of vents on the back, and that's kind of what I was trying to sort of replicate on the back, just freehanding it just to see where the space would be. It doesn't look too bad. It's just huge for 1/32nd scale. So I just try to figure out where to put the vents on the back, because most RSRs were really quite different. So that's the update on the RSR, and that's me done. If anyone has any questions, concerns? No.
Guess not. I guess we don't have any RSR experts in the chat at the moment.
RSKs, yeah.
RSK, sorry. All right, so Frank, looks like you're next on my screen. Then we'll get to Big Den.
Well,
Love the shirt, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Love the shirt. Thank you.
Yep, definitely. Good morning. John, you mentioned Dennis. I believe he doesn't get back from South Africa till tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So he'll probably be in next week.
Okay.
Wanted to show you a few things on my workbench here, just real quick. Yeah, well, that's above the workbench. Working on a few. Come here, camera. A few Trans Ams. Pioneer and Scalextrics. And I was wondering if anybody out there knows of a rubber tire that can go on those with the grip such as a slotted N22. I know there's urethane and silicone out there, but I was hoping to find some rubber ones because, of course, the OEMs are so hard. Even if you true them, they don't give you any grip whatsoever on almost any track. Anybody have any source for rubber tires for those?
There's plenty of 21 and 22 mil NSRs out there.
21 and those will fit on the rims for the Trans Ams?
Using the stock rims?
Yes.
They'll be close enough. I mean, you can certainly modify the inside of any rubber tire if you want. You just turn it inside out. And
that's a good point.
I'll see if I have one here. Yeah, I would check. Probably LEB Hobbies has as many NSR tires hanging around as anybody.
Okay.
And then if I can, can I do a very quick share screen here?
Yeah, I just turned it on.
Thanks. Can you see that?
Yep.
That up?
Oh,
For anyone who gets too hung up on which tire fits which hub and blah blah blah, I just have, this is a blank 24 scale hub. I just turn the tires inside out. And then I'm not using, this is an old right way tire tour, one of the best ever made. I don't use this, I just spin these, and then using a disc or a file, I can deepen and or widen inside or outside the grooves. So don't get
Cool.
too hung up on this tire is only for this wheel. You can do a lot of stuff with a lot of tires to make them fit a lot of wheels.
thank you.
So long as they start out small enough that they're
Yeah. You can't add to it, but you can always take away.
yeah.
Well, you can add to them. You can actually, if you go on Professor Motors' site, he has these very, very small, thin O-rings that they call Ouija's.
Oh, yeah.
And you can put like a Ouija on the inside of the hub, the outside of the hub, 2 in, 3 out, whatever games you want to play to basically widen the flange on the hub, if you will. So you can
Gotcha.
really play a lot of games with tires.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, and as a second thing, if you want to, Pendle Slot Racing has their own line of tires now, and they make a lot of rubber tires. They make a lot of taller tires, which you may want for
Right.
the Trans Ams, depending on what gears you're running on the back there.
All stock.
Well, then, I mean, that's a 19 mil tall spur on the Scale Electrics. So you need a 21 tall tire even to get a mil of clearance.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah,
Right.
good stuff. Thanks, Chris.
Frank, I had a question.
Go ahead, Juan.
Your background, your display cabinets, could you kind of, I'm kind of intrigued by them.
I got those on eBay through a company that's in San Francisco. Well, that one that you're seeing right now was made by a fellow racer. When he got out of racing and moved out of state, he actually made that when he was in the business of making cabinets for retail for display of product. And he made that for the slot cars, and it actually lights up. So that was not that's a one-off. These, like those two there, and the one that was above my workbench, those I got from eBay. They're an O-scale display case from a company, and I can't remember the company, but if you look under O-scale display cases, they're really for O-scale trains.
Mhm.
But I use them. I've got 8 of those cases, and they're very nice because they seal up airtight. You can see through the plexiglass. Very nice. They're light, and I've got 8 of them, so I like them.
They're holding about, what, 8 cars per row? Yeah, 7, 8 cars. Yeah.
About
okay.
8 cars on a normal size car. Some 9. I've even 2, 4, about 8.
Yeah.
I used to put them straight across, and only get 7, and now I kind of put them on an angle and get 8. Unless you're into the Porsche, I've got one row here, Porsche 356 from Nenco. I've got 10 cars in that row, but those are little cars.
So you kind of did the downtown Boulevard parking with them then.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for talking about those, Frank, and thanks for asking that question, Dewan. Looks like Big Den is next on my list. What you got today, Big Den?
Good morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world. I was a bit easier on my postman than Petrucci. I just, in fact, I didn't even need the postman. I got one of our local guys gets parts in. That's one of the poly car monopostos. Yeah, the orange one with the de facto Surtees livery on it.
How's she run?
I've just seen on our tracks. I've had to put a lot of work into the tyres. Still seem to be overpowered for our tracks. So, wheel spin's a problem. And the other thing we've got was just something we referred to last week when Wayne was showing the pictures of his local Formula One class. We mentioned the A1 GPs. There's the French car.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are fun.
Yeah, that's that one. Actually, the monoposto is quite a long wheelbase. It's close to I think it's over 100 mils or 4 inches or whatever it is in the old money. Yeah, the only problem with these is you probably can't see it. Is that they've got a representation of the plank that used to be on the bottom of Formula One cars. The plank on the leading edge was pretty much hitting the track, so I had to radius it off so that it wasn't catching on the track. And the plank looks lovely, but except it just diminishes your clearance underneath to start with, and I just don't know sort of in the what the hell were they thinking category when they designed it. So yeah, it's perplexing at times. And if I could just go back to Frank's storage case, that's seven of some cars, 8 of other cars, and 4 Eldons probably per row. That'll do me until Club Corner anyway.
All right, thanks, Dan. We'll be sure and do that later. Does anybody else have any show and tells they want to show and or tell? You got something else, Petrucci? What you got?
I've got something you might like, your favourite colour.
Yeah, tilt it down a little bit. Tilt it down more. Down, tilt it forward. So we're looking at the top of the car. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I got that one. Yeah, that's a nice car. Bilstein all the way. Woot! Thank you for the blue and yellow car, Petrucci. And Henry, it looks like you've got something to show as well.
Yeah, let's try for another time and share a screen.
Go ahead.
Do you get something?
Yep, now we're looking at hybrid lane video on YouTube. Oh yeah, was this the one printed on the one that's on Thingiverse?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tire razor style printable tire truer.
Because at the moment we are in the tire truers.
And you made some modifications to use different hardware?
Yeah, I did. It wasn't specified what for motor, so I bought a motor and I think let's do something. I used the springs from the bed of the printer. I bought this motor. With the manual speed controller from the servo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And then the reason it's on a stand is just to kind of make room for wiring and stuff, or why do you have it up on a big block?
So you can look under the tires.
Oh, okay.
Because
just
it's standing on the table, I have to sit on my knees.
Yeah, for ergonomic purposes.
Yes.
So what are the results like? Does it work pretty good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I was amazed about it. Yeah, and it's the first set of tires normally I don't do this sort of tires. I have another truer. You saw I got the slot truer, but for Carrera of Electrics, yeah, it should be easy to do, because I have also tires I cannot get loose, so they're stuck. So I found it yeah, encouraging to make someone.
Looks good.
Yeah, thank you. And how do I come back now? This is in the minus, I think. Oh, stop share.
What size O-ring did you use?
Sorry?
I'm curious what size O-ring you used on that, because I printed that truer out as well. And
Oh,
I had a hard time with O-rings. I also found the plastic pulley that came with that didn't work well. I bought the one for the tire raiser.
yeah.
The tire raiser O-ring was way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a store, a grocery store, and I bought a box full of them in 30 sizes. So I don't know exactly how big it is, but I can measure it. And I will put it in the link.
Yeah, a revision of that truer design with, you know, a way to adjust the distance between the motor and the axle bracket for different O-ring lengths would be good. Are you showing something off today, Brian? Oh, there's your print. Let me spotlight that. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to show, it's got a little dirt on it, I haven't been using it, is I used brass tubing. They fit the holes quite nicely. These were from pen turning sets where you turn your own pen on a lathe. It was brass tubing that just happened to fit perfectly, and it did a much better job of keeping this level and flat. But again, to get the kind of length I needed to run the decent the tire raiser pulley, you can see what I had to do with the motor.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to end up doing is probably, instead of reprinting the whole thing, is I'm just going to print a bracket extension that I'll screw to this to back this motor up a little bit.
Did you go to the front or to the back?
Through the front or back of what?
Yeah, now that you can play with the range.
Oh, an adjustable bracket for that.
Yeah, I will probably put it to the back, but I can always also make it kind of L-shaped or Z-shaped, if you will, so I can get it on the proper plane. But the overall design was pretty good. I did make some subtle changes to it. But like I said, I thought the brass tubing worked quite well. You can see I used acorn nuts on the top of it and then went with a central post.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
So,
and if you do it, you can in between use springs.
I don't have a spring on this. That was the one thing that I didn't do. So I do have to physically back it off. But when you relieve the pressure, it comes back up. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you have springs on the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom, yeah.
Silly me. Yes, I do. I didn't put the springs on the top like yours was. Yeah, they are down here.
What kind of? Where did you get those springs?
I think I just got these from the hardware, and I don't remember if I cut them or what.
I think you have, Greg, you have laying them around, because my springs are from the bed of the printer.
Yeah, I heard you say you use printer bed springs.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
Good diameter and strong.
Yeah. So I had a hard time trying my motor. This is actually off of a Losi RC car. And it has plenty of torque. It has the power to do it, but I could, one, the mounting holes aren't quite the same size, and two, the standard O-rings that I could find just didn't cut it. I bought a couple that looked like they would fit, and I just wasn't happy with them. This right here, I can use the tire raiser. I have a couple of their O-rings. I bought 2 of their O-rings and 2 of their sprockets for the axle itself.
The pulleys, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys do anything special? Can you?
Centimeter, but yeah, It depends on what your space is.
When you guys did your prints, did you do anything special as far as number of perimeters or wall thickness or density of infill or a specific kind of material like PETG versus PLA?
You're going down?
No, normally PLA and 1020.
20%
And an
infill? Yeah.
And an infill of about 25. So nothing special.
I did PLA plus,
Yeah,
and
plus.
I printed mine at 100% density. But the design of the base itself, the way it's made at the bottom and everything, it's not a short print. It takes some time to print this, but I just felt for what it was, I went with the 100% infill.
Now we're on the printing stage.
Oh, what you got? Let me spotlight you. Oh, you printed one already. Did you want to do a share of that page that you put a link in?
Yeah, it's already there. That's the link of the page. It's in
the chat.
In the chat. And there are 3 or 4 of them. And this one I printed on 020 and 010. And they're fully in parts. And it's you know, I like the rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rate body.
Nice.
So I have to find some parts for it, but everything fits and is 100%. It's wonderful, and yeah, I'm very enthusiastic to see it in the colors and paint it, and yeah, let's have a look of it if it drives. But it's in the link, and I think they have 3 or 4 types for it. It's pickups, Range Rovers. So a wonderful project.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the video description. So anybody who wants to see the models that Henry was just showing off as far as printing your own, just follow the link in the description and print your own. We definitely want to see how that turns out with the paint job and all the parts and working and stuff. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Okay, thank you.
And does anybody else have anything they want to share and show? Go ahead, Jeremy. Oh, you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
I started working on a tire balancer. My bad. I seen a guy online has some, and I thought I'd give it a try and see how it works out.
Oh, the magnet thing.
Yeah, it's just held by magnets, so just to see how well it goes. I mean, probably not gonna make a big difference. And then the second big piece of news, I got the radar gun.
Nice.
That is awesome. Have you tried it yet?
No, I'm gonna try it this weekend. I didn't get a chance to yet.
That is so cool. You
Yeah.
can also do that with a dog or a cat. You can see how fast they're going.
Yeah.
Or a person.
Right, that's all
or
I got.
cars.
Yeah, person. I don't want to go out in the neighborhood and start shooting at people. I don't know if they'll appreciate that.
There's a man outside with a gun.
Yeah.
It's a radar gun.
Jeremy, you're going to share the file for that tile?
Yeah, as soon as I get it working right. I mean, right now it's a little wobbly when it balances. But as soon as I get it done,
I'm going to go printing that myself when you get it done.
Yeah, I share everything. I feel kind of bad because I know there's a guy online that makes YouTube videos who sells something similar. I always hate to step on other people's work, but
it's just it's just the nature of the 3D printing world.
Yeah, hopefully his is better than mine.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I think we'll go ahead and do drawing. So since it's a shorter list and easier to do.
Oh, Brian has his hand up though, I think, doesn't he?
No, he does. Nobody has any hands up other than.
Oh,
buddy.
I do.
I'm not even looking at the screen at the moment.
Yes, I do.
So
yeah, he does. Brian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shush. First of all, I was joking.
Oh.
Second of all, I wasn't looking at the Zoom screen because I was going to grab my list to do the drawing. If you guys don't want to do the drawing right now, we can do more show and tells or whatever. I didn't see any electronic hands other than Brian. Brian, are you still wanting to show and talk about things?
Not anymore. You made me feel bad. Go on with your
So now I'm going to look for physical hands. Does anybody have anything they want to show and or tell or ask about? Looking for physical hands saying me, me, me. Okay. So apparently everybody wants to do the drawing right now. So, at the risk of, actually no, at the risk, don't want to dox anybody, so I need to delete all these email addresses from this list here. Frank's on the list, and Dewan is on the list, and I got a Bob, and I got a Steven, and I got a Jonathan, and Neil, our very own Neil. Speaking of Neil, I did finally get an email from the other New Jersey guy, and gave that email to Neil, and Neil contacted the New Jersey guy. So hopefully one of these days we find out that Neil and the other New Jersey guy are having races with one another, doing digital Carrera digital things. But for now, we're going to find a randomizer. Let's see. Was it random.org? Yeah.
Somebody check on John. Is he okay?
Which John?
John McKenzie. I think,
John, you okay?
Oh, Iceman? Looks like he nodded off. Iceman! John! I got no way to set an alert.
Yeah, you can't poke him or anything.
I think he's, hopefully he's just nodded off.
Hopefully it's just a nap.
All right, so let's see. Nope, I should have done this earlier. Here we go, list randomizer. Enter the things. All right, I'm going to share my screen now. All right, so here are the people in the list: Frank, Dewan, Bob, Stephen, John, and Neil. When I hit randomize, the person at the top of the list is the wiener of the tire razor reciprocation machine. Here we go. Jonathan Holman, you are the wiener of the tire razor reciprocation machine. I will send you an email and we'll work that out. If you did not win and you want me to print you one, email me, or I'll respond to anybody who indicated that if they don't win, they want to buy one. Otherwise, send me an email if you want to buy one. If you have a printer, print your own. And do like Petrucci did and print your own and build your own. They're pretty cheap to build, but we'll get him his free one. And moving on. So we'll do the actual car. What was that, Dewan?
The going rate is $50.
I'm going to drop it to 40. 40 with shipping in the States, 40 plus shipping worldwide. Yeah, 50 was a little bit too high. So we're going to 40. So before we do the car drawing, let's do some more chit-chatting. Let's go ahead and do Club Corner. Does anybody have a Club Corner they want to talk about? I believe Big Den had one. You want to just get started on that, Big Den? You don't have to raise your hand.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm a bit like Brian. I felt I just shrunk into the back of a chair when you started getting aggro. Okay, Club Corner. Just a minute. I'll get one up ready to share. Okay, back here and steer screen. Right. Okay. How are we looking?
Coming in.
Okay, right. So I've had a couple of race meets since I was on last, which was a fortnight ago. This is our local track, affectionately known as Grumpy's Garage. We only had 7 racing on Saturday week ago. That's right, and this was our under 2 litre class. Sort of a mixture of brass car, the two at the front. Sort of got brass chassis. This idea originated at a club about 50 miles from my place, and interestingly enough, the guy who runs the club, his house is there. He's an expat Canadian who I believe came from Toronto many years ago. So Barry, his name is Barry, and he builds a lot of these cars. The third place was some old you know, crusty guy just running a fairly standard Ninko. But it goes all right, you know, despite all what they say about Ninko. Moving on, next picture, just another look at the same field.
Big Dan, sorry to interrupt, the car at the back, was that like a Dauphin or what is that in the back there?
I think it's an early model BMW, like a BMW, that the one right there, the blue and white one.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Here. I think it's what, like a BMW 2002 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That belonged to a guy who's just started racing with us in the last couple of months. Who's got a track probably only about 10 minutes from where I am, but he looked at me and said, Dennis, he said, you would never get into the room. So that's the trouble about being Big Den sometimes, you know, not access all areas doesn't apply. Okay, so moving on to the results there. The guys in the brass cars sort of out in front, but the next four of us fairly close. So Class 2 was our local, you know, V8 supercars, as they're called in Australia. Yeah, pretty much all Scar Electric cars and in fairly stock condition. This one here, another, you know, the crusty old guy again always seems to want to be different. And this was from a set that was originally released in England just for the Toys R Us company. And it was what they were called the Driven to Destruction set, you know, and I've put all these other aftermarket stickers on because it's got the scarelectric.com on you know, this had sort of, you know, destruction there. I put Valvoline stickers on, so made it look a little bit more. I say I'm the leading entry in the Privateers Cup, so that. Okay, then we move to another shot of those cars. Normally would have about 10 racing because of school holidays here and everything. A couple of guys couldn't make it, and there's the results. I took the liberty of doing them in a spreadsheet this time rather than just the screenshot, which never comes up all that well.
And it looks like you're on the podium for a lot
I'm on the podium. Yeah, that's why I wanted to make it more prominent, John. You know, so. And our last class for the day was what we just termed classic sports cars. Again, we opened the invitation to the guys from that other track run by Barry because we didn't think they'd be racing for a while, but we didn't get it. We didn't get many takers, obviously. But the three cars at the back, which I'll show separately in a minute, they're all, you know, like smaller. You can see a Cheetah and a Porsche 910 or 910 and an early GT40, but they're physically smaller cars compared to the, you know, the big slotters at the front of the field there.
Is the Cheetah an MRRC Cheetah, Big Dan?
I reckon it probably is, John. I'm not sure. I've never seemed to get all that much time to go around looking at cars at a meeting. So there's the front half of the field we're all slotted. The Matra in front, a couple of Ferrari 312s, and then an Alfa 33. There's the three, alternate class. So I did the results in two categories there. I might say that my ability didn't fall off in the last two brackets or the last two heats. It's just that in the first heat I ran my Thunder slot McLaren, and then in the last two heats I ran the Ferrari and a little slotted Alfa, but which has only got a Scar Electric motor in. So you can see on our track, there's, as long as it handles it, the motor size isn't all that big, which I think is one of Chris Walker's theories, or proved in practice that you can sort of get good results with a smaller motor. Moving about 200 kilometres away last Tuesday night, or Tuesday night before last, down to Hobart, and there's our first night of our LMP class. first half of the field there. You can see mainly slotted lollers, I think, most of them there.
That looks like a smooth surface on that track.
Yeah, this is a track, a three-lane track. It is a very good surface, John. 3 or 4 years ago, the chap had the misfortune, not the misfortune to go on holidays, but when he got back, he found his dishwasher upstairs had blown hoses and destroyed the back half of the track. So he had to rebuild it, but it was a nice finish to start with. It's all good now. There's a look at the other half of the field again. Someone had to be different and run an Avant slot Crema Porsche rather than the pretty standard slotted stuff, but it goes well anyway. So that's all I needed to know.
What do you think from the new flag holders from Slotted, from the LMPs?
I don't know, Henry. I don't have one of them. That's I was the out of place person running the Avant slot car there, so I really haven't had a look. Some of them, yeah, I've heard they wobble a bit. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't replace them.
Yeah, well, I haven't got one myself, so I really can't comment. But I have heard that comment made. So
Okay.
there's our place getters. Generally,
because we use for our routed slot scale auto flags, and
yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah, yeah. You have to drill and do everything, make brand new.
Okay. Yeah, the guy who won here, and it was very close. He's the guy who won here. He's only been racing for about 3 years, but he's become very good at. And as you can see, we had about 13, 14 racing there. I'm down the field a bit there against the local guns, but not too bad considering it was it's only 5 laps from the top to where I was anyway, so that's not bad. And I think that would probably be just about, so there we are. So that's it. It's just before I sign off for this segment, just make a comment. Greg went into the sea there. We've got a local piece of wildlife here called the blue ringed octopus. I'm just not sure whether it's actually a blue and yellow ringed octopus, but maybe the other people could, some of the experimenters could try and breed into yellow rings as well to make it more amenable to Greg.
Sure, look forward to that.
Yeah.
It's probably sponsored by Sunoco.
There you go.
Okay, fellas, I'll let someone else jump in.
All right, thanks for sharing that, Big Dan. Does anybody else have any Club Corner they want to talk about? Previous racing, looking forward to upcoming racing, competitions that happened. Did anybody here go to the Oxygen? There was an Oxygen race on Saturday, I believe, in the UK anywhere. John, were you part of that?
Yeah, it was Sunday in actual fact. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's held at Stanborough. It's an old club that's been in London for ages. Not Stanborough, they used to be called Eastcote. They bought Ian Newstead's club in Kilburn. Yeah, the big 6-lane. It was slightly longer than the track that's on. I might get to your screen sharing. So yeah, we should have had 6 teams. Ended up with 5. It's 150 odd. So most teams got into the 11s in the end, but an average lap was sort of 12 and a half seconds. We had 2 LMP2s. I ran the Jonathan and we ran the Orange Lola. Second was Stanborough, that's your home team. They ran a Hurricane with a angle winder MX-16 in it. Third was, I think it was.
Was it Alan and Kessel Run, John?
That's it. That's right. That's the right one. It was Alan and Martin Dixon and Ray Brownson. They run a Black Arrow Ferrari, angle wind down X16 again. Fourth was Nick from Rockingham. They run a Pasquarella with a Oliver chassis. That was in line as well, obviously. And then the other home team, Stambra, they rode Scale Auto 997. Just a sidewinder. But yeah, good race, lovely little track. Well, big track, I should say, I suppose. Runs really well, no issues. Just a shame we can get a few more people. As I was saying, the trouble is it's on a Sunday. There's no real testing. People like to come down and test, make sure it all works, etc. But it's a long way just for a day event. Lucky enough, it's literally an hour down the road from me, as you know. As I said, I reckon it's the best place to live in the UK to go racing. Most of the other clubs, you've got Wales, you've got Hereford, you've got the lads in Stoke, you've got Wayne's at the top of Wales, basically. So it's what, I think 4 or 5 hour trip for you, Wayne, I should think. So
yeah, really it was just beyond my reach for a single day event, really.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have been able to go.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. Good fun, bit of banter, some good racing. The track, I say, it races really well.
Regarding the track, John, it was a 4-lane layout, was it not? Yeah.
No, it's a 6-lane, and obviously the inner and outer lane, or whichever way you want to look at it, lane 6 and 1, with just speed lane. So you should obviously, when you came out, you had to put it into the lane closest to you.
So you ran the middle 4.
Yeah. Only 5 cars on the track, which it's not on a big. You're doing 12-second laps. You didn't have to lane change that often, but there was some good moves. Some good overtaking. I was coming up, catching people, and you could see the cars in front were dicing. So I had a choice: I could sit behind them or go to lanes 2 and 5 and overtake them that way. I basically ran on 2 lanes. Which are, if you don't remember numbers, it would be lane sort of 2 and lane 4, or 3 and 5, depending on which one you look at it. Because you want to get a feel for obviously all the lanes. There's no point in thinking just staying in one lane, because you've got to change at some stage. So practice all the lanes. While you don't, you're up there for we did half-hour stints. You come out, you get put in a different position, you move into the lane, just go around the track, just build up your lap time.
There's a definite skill to being able to change your driving that slight little bit to be able to be just as quick in another lane as you were in your favoured lane.
Yeah, as I say, I've done a couple of 6 hours there. I'm not a member. Jonathan's a member. But as I say, it's a relatively. They have slightly changed it again since I was last there. Basically, before you go under the bridge, there's obviously an R1 corner in there, which a lot of people would come out on in a digital race. So Graham and Nick changed it to R2s. So obviously it reduced the potential to have an accident. But as I say, you've got to learn all the lanes. It's like an analog race. If you're doing endurance, you have so many laps or time in each lane. So you've got racing all anyway. So you just do the same in digital. You're using it to get past other slower traffic. So you start using the peripheral vision a lot more as well.
Good stuff. It looks like Dewan's got his hands up. Did you have a question about that, or want to share something else?
I just had a general club type question.
Sure.
And it's probably appropriate for Frank and maybe even Jim Rose. I've actually never raced at a club or had a real competitive race. It's always been fun. And so I was considering going out to Electric Dreams on, I guess it's now going to be November the 13th. And they have a category that I'm not much of a racer and know all racing, all the different divisions and classifications of all these different GT So I was probably trying to get a little schooling on what I really need to bring for the two races that are going to be on the 13th of November.
Well, one thing to remember too, every club has its own rule. So our club, Far Out Racing, has a Revo slot. I'll look up the two classes in a second for you for 13th. But we have Revo slot, and ours is take the magnet out. You can change braids, true tires, that's it. But another club might allow ball gauge tires or silicone or something.
Yeah.
Every club has their different rules. So
it's Group 5 and Group C.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Group C. That's what I was going to say. It's a Group C and a Group 5. And I have slotted cars. I just don't know if they fit into. I don't know which slotted cars fit in the Group C category, and which sideways cars fits in the Group 5.
Sideways is okay. Good point. Let me.
Maybe this might be something for offline. But
and the problem is too is that the Far Out website, which would have all the rules for you and the classes and what to do to set them up properly, has been down since before COVID. And for some reason, they just can't find it.
Yeah.
However,
I'm in a similar situation as Dewan. I think I'm further along than Dewan as far as understanding what all these types of cars are and you know the classes of cars. You know, when I started in slot car racing, I knew nothing about LMP or Group C or what Le Mans Classics, all those things. So basically, I learned through the slot car hobby. And to answer those two specific questions, what's a slotted Group C and what's a sideways Group 5, the easiest thing to do is go to the Slotted website because they have their models separated by class. So you could go and look Slotted Group C, you know, Porsche 962, you know, and they'll basically, you know, you'll see the models. They won't necessarily show every single livery of those things, but if you look at slotted.com or slot.it and then go to their Group C models, you'll see which car bodies are Group C. So I imagine that, and you know, if a club or you know an event says slot at Group C, you'll be able to race any of those.
Right.
And then following the rules is going to be the more complicated part. You know, what things are allowed, what things are not allowed. Right. And same with sideways. You know, go to Racer Sideways or Racer.com or wherever you find the Racer Sideways, and then look at their Group 5 cars or any site that sells them. You know, most sites that sell them are also going to, you know, list them in that classification as well.
I have a few of their cars. And the reason why I brought up Jim, because I know Jim is so into it, he would know exactly which cars.
There's an easy way for Group C. One, you can just Google Group C and Wikipedia will show you what cars are in it. And if Slotted makes it, it's a Group C. The other thing is Google Slotted Group C poster. They put out a poster a few years ago. It has about 50 different cars on it. So that it's not up to date right now, but you can get a really good idea of what cars are in there because most of the current cars are reliveried from the older cars. So if you look at that poster, you can really see the variety from the Jaguars to the Nissans to the Toyotas, etc.
If you want to make a choice,
are all labeled. So if you look on Sideways and you search Group 5, they are labeled as Group 5. Group 5 is 935s, that era.
So Jim, do you guys have a rookie test?
You didn't pass.
Henry, did you have a suggestion on how to pick a good Group C model?
No, if you have to choose between Sideways and a slotted Le Mans car of Group C, then you can pick easier a Group C car because if you drive on rubber with Sideways, it's a difficult car.
So if you're choosing between running in the Group C class versus running in the Sideways class rather than both of them, then maybe lean towards the Group C because generally those cars all perform very well and very similar to one another, whereas Sideways the cars are going to be very different from one another and take a little bit more tweaking and tuning to get it right.
You have to really have a straight chassis, and that's not always the case with Sideways.
Nor is it always the case with the slotted.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But they're easy to bake, and Sideways isn't.
That's
go on.
Number one question: what's the power? What do you use for your XLR banana?
Oh, wow.
Pardon?
Yeah, Dewan will also need to know what kind of controller to bring and what kind of hookup to that.
Right.
Yes.
I have the 3 alligator clips, but I also have an adapter as well.
For far out being a non-mag, we supply the controllers. So everybody's using the same controllers on the same lane. Also, there's loaners. If you don't happen to have a car in that class, Stephen always brings loaners for each class.
Okay.
Dewan, I was going to say, if you go onto the Facebook page for Far Out Slot Cars, under announcements, like under Group C, it lists every single car. Just keep looking through the announcements and you'll find in there. It took me a minute, even knowing the site a little bit, to find it. It will list all the cars that you can use and our rules as well.
Okay, great. That's good enough.
So that way you know exactly what you need to do for each class.
I have a whole month, exactly a month from today.
Exactly, you're right.
So all those things will apply.
I know I have about 4 or 5 slotted. I think they categorize. I know in the date range, they're going to be in a date range. So I have a 1988 and 1992. So it's an 82 to 92 range for the date. So I know I have. I just didn't know if they met that category or not. Okay.
Yeah.
There's
but it actually lists the different models under Group 5 and what to do to be legal for the class. So you don't have to worry about bringing controllers.
Okay.
So is the Electric Dreams event going to be basically the same thing?
Yeah, the Electric Dreams event is one of the Far Out race places.
Oh, okay. Kind of like when
they're the host. They're the host.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I'm going to go racing with Alan at his Scale Racing Center tonight.
There you go. Marco Carvalho, who is the marketing manager there, is a Far Out racer and has been for many years. And so when he got the track there, of course, he wanted to have a Far Out race there, and we're finally having one.
Are the spec controllers mandatory at Far Out, or can you use your own?
Pardon?
Are the spec controllers mandatory, or can you use your own controller?
Yes, they are mandatory. You cannot use your own controllers.
That doesn't work for me. I mean, I've got a reason. I've got a specific reason, but that doesn't work for me.
Well, exactly, and that's why some racers don't like racing with Far Out. But we're not a speed club. We are a club that we want to race basically out of the box stock.
No, there's a reason for it. When I pull a controller, I pull a controller like this. And there's been many times with spec controllers, I pull the wiper off the band and the car just stops. I can't. If some of the controllers are not set up for me, I don't have a problem with spec controllers. But with spec controllers, a lot of times they physically won't work for me. It's just the direction I pull the trigger.
Oh,
and so
have you tried a left-hander controller?
No.
I mean, that's the reason that left-hander controllers exist as much as the knobs being on the other side is because of the way that you tend to pull the trigger or push the trigger with your hand.
Yeah, no, I've never tried that. But that's my reasoning for that, you know.
Gotcha.
I mean, it wouldn't help you in this case because they're probably not going to have left-hander controllers at the Far Out. So,
but it doesn't seem like the left-handers in our club have a problem with them. But again, it's the way they pull the trigger.
Yeah, and they probably they've probably adapted.
Exactly.
I was going to come down there for that race in November, but now I actually have a paying job that weekend, so I can't make it.
Yeah, I would think a paying job would come before a race.
The first time I've got paid to take pictures at a race, so I'm going to Monterey.
Cool.
Nice.
How neat.
All right.
Hey, did foam or rubber? Driving foam or rubber? In that class, you are driving on foam or with rubber?
I think it's you're asking Far Out.
They're spec tires. You have to look at
the stock.
No foam, some rubber, some Ortman.
Okay.
It depends on the class. Our Group 5 sideways is stock rubber. True them up. Somebody was saying that stock rubber isn't any good. It isn't any good on certain tracks, but that's way everybody is on the same level then with those tires.
Of course.
You have to true them to your satisfaction. And we don't allow any type of cleaning product at the racetrack.
Tape?
Other than tape to take the dust off the tires, no oils, no grip solutions or anything like that?
Type is enough.
Exactly.
Group C is a spec Ortman tire. And it's in their rules.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of memory, Jim. So I
That's
put
why
my car together and it runs and I forget what's on it.
Well, I was hoping to come down there for that, so I did all the rule reading, and then there's no ballast allowed either.
Correct.
So it's way different than I
Correct.
think most of us are used to, which is fine, but it's different.
Right, exactly. So then you have to, it's a driver's duel to a degree. I mean, there are things you can do to make the cars faster as far as polishing axles and again, truing the tires to the size that you'd like them to get that CG lower or what have you, but there's not a whole lot you can do otherwise.
It's funny, no matter how the rules are written, the fast guys are still the fast guys.
And yep, yeah, they look between the lines and they figure it out, and yeah.
Yep.
And even if I don't win and I'm not the fastest, I still have a great time.
That's the fun of it.
That's cool. So, Jeremy, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, can I share screen here?
Yeah, you should be able to share. It should be all set up. There you go.
All right, so this is my old track at my old house, which was waist high. It was 12 feet by 8 feet. And then this past weekend, I started building in my garage. I'm going to 16 feet. I just have a question for you guys. This is going to be for our club racing. Now, I've heard other people that have this is going to be, these points here, there's 4 points will be raised into the ceiling. So this will be out of the way. But should I go for waist height again? Or I've heard other people talk about they have their tracks down on the floor for a better vantage point. Would you guys have a difference? Have you guys ever experienced either?
I mean, I know we have ours at about waist height, and and after sort of racing on the floor, it seems to be a wee bit better.
Yeah. All right.
As I lower it, Jeremy,
I would.
We race at about waist height, so sort of 3 foot, 3.5 foot, whatever it is. But at Oxford, we actually lay it on some chair legs. So the chair, the actual seat's been taken away, and we just turn the chair on its side. They're metal frames. They're probably, 16, 18 inches off the floor, so 400, 450 mil off the floor. We've obviously the tracks on board to make it all together. But it's not on the floor, but it's not at waist height, and it does give you much better visibility. On your track, actually the track at Oxford's probably 75, 80 foot long, I suppose, in the room, whereas that's 16 foot. So it doesn't really matter. You could almost have it sort of chest height if you want. Just for an odd night, but if you're racing cars with lights or something, it's something different one evening, But if you're going to put it on the pulley, surely you can adjust the pulleys so it's going to have a base level, and then you can set it wherever you want with some lock stops.
Yeah, I thought once it comes down the pulleys, I'll have it detached. So it'll be, I'll have stability for it.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, I mean, for the kids, it'd be easier down there. But then I thought for us old guys, I really don't want to bend down all the time and grab a car. I'm getting older. The floor is getting further away.
Who are you going to hire to turn marshal the track that's on the floor?
Yeah.
I get down there, I won't get back up.
I saw a video where somebody was talking about they had their track on the floor and they liked it better. And I thought, no, let me see what you guys think. But
well, the other thing too, Jeremy, is that the higher it is, the less dust you're going to get on, even when you're using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the further to
my track is on a winch, and I alternate between putting it on cinder blocks, putting it on the floor to work on it, and putting it about waist height. And each waist height between waist height on sawhorses or on the cinder blocks, it's a kind of different vantage point, a different racing experience. And like someone else said, it's great for when you have kids over.
Yeah, and we have all varied heights in our club. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm probably the tallest, and then but there's guys that are 5'4". So it's just, I know that in other tracks they always complain that they can't see around this corner or they can't see the tunnel. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it for myself.
Whose waist are you going to use?
Yeah, my kids.
Although, as Martin just put in the chat comments, table height is always a good sort of level for everybody usually.
Like standard dining room table. So
Yeah, I mean, or collapsible table or whatever you want to use to measure it. But that's generally a good, and it usually gives you enough, especially with a tall chap like yourself, to enough leverage to go and reach cars, or even with a grabber or a gripper, you should be able to marshal fairly well.
All right.
I designed my car.
Different supports, maybe 4 or 5 gallon buckets upside down for the kids, and something else a little higher up for you. Something you don't necessarily have to attach to the table, but you can do what you want. Since you want to unhook the cables, try a couple different things, see what you like, mix it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
You may find with the kids you want it higher so they can't get to certain places.
That's true.
You might find that you need it higher so that they can't see, so that you can still win.
Wow.
Yeah, I made mine modular using tabletops that will fit on top of standardized banquet tables, and I cut a little groove under the underside of the tabletop so that it fits neatly over the banquet tables and doesn't move around a bit. So I have literally 6 tables made up like that, 6 tabletops to do that.
Yeah, like the plastic folding tables, those kind.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what my old track had, was those plastic, you just fold them, and I just left it up permanently.
Yeah, but and mine's probably gonna be up permanently, but it gives me that option of being able to take the tabletops off and just getting everything out of the way pretty quickly if I need to, instead of having a full build out, which is more,
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but my tables are as temporary as income tax. They're not going anywhere.
All right, thank you guys.
Cool. And any other club corner, gentlemen? And anybody else do anything the last week at their clubs? No. Okay. Well, then we have to sort of, I guess, think about some topics.
I got a good topic. Pre-orders, I got a pre-order email from Professor Motor that if you're looking for that new Trans Am Barracuda, the
Scalextrics?
Yeah, the Scalextric just released. I just ordered 2 of them, so better
cool.
Jump on that because they're going to be going quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the SCX versions went really quick, didn't they?
Yeah, but Dave Kennedy was talking about there's some supply chain issues that this is probably gonna be the last one under these prices. The next boat coming over is probably gonna be a little more expensive for everything.
Ooh, maybe it's just time for everyone to scratch build. What do you think?
Yeah, that could be. Hopefully brass doesn't go up.
Use popsicle sticks.
Hopefully the wood doesn't go up. What's wrong with you? Everything's going up.
But if you've got a 3D printer, you can print the chassis.
Yeah, that's true. I'm stocking them on plastic now.
Actually, that's a good question. Are there any cars that anybody would like that they can't necessarily find from a manufacturer right now?
There was a car on Jay Leno's show. I'll look for you guys to go ahead and talk about it. Hang on.
Go ahead, Dwan. Sorry.
Oh, so there's tons of them. Actually, I really want to get to the art of creating my own custom cars. In particular, like I said, I've never been much of a racer per se. This is more of it's totally a hobby. It's for fun. It's for relaxation, etc. But I'm now on this binge for recreating things that are meaningful. So I want to recreate my old cars. I want to recreate my father's car, some other cars and things like that. So it's really that's the route that I know that I'm going to be going. The racing is fun and fine, and I like that, and I get the new cars. But the vintage old stuff and custom stuff is the direction that I'm finding a lot of that I'm leaning towards. So
very cool.
Sorry,
Jeremy, go ahead. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Who's up?
I was gonna say on Jay Leno's garage, he had Max Wachowski's 1959 Old Yeller 2. And I thought that's the coolest car. It looks like something out of the Road Warrior, but it would show up on the track and just beat everybody. That would be a fun slot car if you could tune that up, because somebody new would see that and go, what's this hunk of junk got to do? And you just blow everybody's doors off. That would be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, because Jeremy, to your point, that's exactly what happened at the racetrack.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, he used to paint white walls on it, so the tires looked like he got them from a junkyard. And the drivers he had driving for him, he had Dan Gurney and Carol Shelby, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's why that episode, if you get a chance to watch it, it's really funny.
Yeah, well, Max Belshowski was really quite something. He used to literally draw the frame in full scale in chalk on his garage floor and then build the darn thing.
Nice.
And then
So you already know a lot about it, I guess.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Well, you know what? That's why
There
they
you
call
go.
it trivia, man, because it's trivial.
There's been a few guys that have done resin old yellers.
Oh, have they?
30-second scale, yeah. So they're fairly easy to get, actually.
Well, then never mind.
No, but you know what? Nick,
Thanks
you bring
for
up a
bringing
really
me
good-
down, Chris.
But the way you bring up a really good point. I mean, I'm sure with something like that, first of all, it's a pretty niche car, and secondly, you got to wonder who the rights really belong to. That's the other issue. Is it the car owner now, or is it the Belshowski family? And it's like, oh, it's a bit of a quagmire, I'm sure.
Does anybody have any kind of repo that they've collected all this information for, like, cars to find this resin? Like, Chris knew it, but if he didn't know it, we'd be talking about it for the next 20 minutes, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need some kind of
like
way
for
to
me, I mean, I'm kind
track
of like
it
the
all.
one. I start with like kits that were made in the 50s and 60s that you can't get anymore. Right, that's like, even those the Revell Highway Pioneers, the XK120 was basically bang on scale. The Ferrari was a pretty good looking scale car, and they came out with a line of like hot rods. Oh gosh, yeah, there are a whole bunch of kind of neat things that you could do.
Dewan, on Facebook, there are several sites, several people like MVD Resins, John Warren. John Kidd even has a couple of his own kits that he puts together in resin. Then you got Pendle Slot Racing that sells a whole bunch. Who else is there? AA Bodies, 2 or 3 of them in England, and make some really good resin kits. A word of warning, though, if you've ever seen those $10 eBay resin bodies, don't bother unless you know how to sand out bumps and things, because they're done with a 3D printing. I don't know how they do it, but they just, even after you sand them, it still shows through, and the bodies, I mean, they've got some nice bodies as far as the makes, but they just, you would really have to know modeling. Well, John would probably make one look really good, but
gosh, thanks.
There's so many places out there, Dewan, that you can get these resin kits. And then like Penelope Pit Lane has chassis that go under any resin body that you can get. They have the tires and the rims, the different sizes. I built several of theirs. Some of them have, they call them 14-inch tires, which are smaller. Some of them will have 16-inch tires, which are a little bit bigger. And that, to me, over the last couple of years that I've been doing it, that's been a lot of the fun, is researching all of that and finding out who has what, and then figuring out what tires and so forth. The only thing is, once in a while, the timing from UK can take 3 to 4 weeks sometimes, or like I just ordered 3 bodies from John Warren. And about a week ago, actually over 2 months ago, I ordered them. He finally got to them and mailed them out a week or so ago. And I don't expect them to sometime next month. But that's part of it too.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of even going further. Like I said, I want to build a scale model of my childhood home, and that's going to be one of the
cool
on my track, and my father's truck. And so we're going to be,
there you go.
When it comes around, they're going to just be, it's going to be like more reminiscing the past than just the hardcore.
And Dewan, sorry to interrupt. The other place to look too is if you find whatever you're looking for in a 1/32 scale die cast, that's a bonus. Like you strip the paint, make a mold, and boom, there's your body.
Commission it with somebody like John.
Yeah, well, I was going to say there are some people that can build things for you if you're really interested.
I'm planning on reaching out to those resources. Absolutely.
No worries, and don't be afraid to even build a chassis out of like place truck. That's how I started. They work great. There's such a feeling in watching something that you actually put together go around the track.
Right.
It's really kind of cool.
I watched John's episodes on mold and casting of the 356. And that convinced me that if I want a body, I will commission somebody like John, if not John, to do it, because you've got to have a lot of patience. Like this 935, I would have wanted that built within the first 2 or 3 days, and he's been working on it for weeks now and taking his time. It's going to look beautiful when he's done, but no way do I have that kind of patience.
Well, never mind. I've got the specter of Chris and Dennis over my shoulders. They better be good.
Speaking of John, I wanted to take a minute to thank him. Obviously, just now I had to step away, randomly. He took over, and of course, he did a fantastic job on the last 2 chats, while I was on vacation. So thanks to John. Thank you, John, very much for hosting the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Thank you very much for doing that, and I'm sure I will make use of you in the future.
And the check's in the mail, right?
The check's in the mail.
Yeah. What am I going to do with that 30 cents this month?
I'm going to let it accrue a little bit more, so it's worth putting in the mail. Anyway, just wanted to say thanks to John.
My pleasure. You guys are just so much fun.
Jim's got his hand up. Did you have input on desired body that doesn't exist, or did you have something else?
Oh, that's a whole nother thing in itself. So that would take about an hour. But Lotus Europa Group 5, yes, and it does exist. Somebody made one in a German company, or a German guy that does resin bodies, made the Group 5 Lotus Europa in both 20
with the snorkels. With the snorkels?
No, the Group 5, not the 47.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
Group 5 was a one-off. I think it only ran one race. It had a Minolta livery on it.
Yeah.
It was basically the Capri motor in the back of a Lotus Europa, whatever the chassis happened to be, and had a Europa body on it. So if you Google Lotus Europa Group 5, you can find it. But if anybody ever finds one, I would love to get a hold of one, because I'm a Europa and a Lotus fan. But anyway, the reason I had my hand up is I saw a couple cars this morning that I had never seen announced, and I don't know if it's just I've never seen them or they're brand new. But has anybody seen that?
That's a Ferrari.
That's a Ferrari Thunderslot Can-Am car.
Wow.
I think it was just announced this morning because it's the first time I've seen it.
Does Carrera no longer have the license for it?
I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. They also announced.
There are companies that are kind of overstepping that a wee bit and just taking their chances, I think.
Probably. And there's a Lola T70.
My help.
Say again, John? Sorry.
Giovanni, he is Italian anyway. So
you get away with it.
Yeah. Richo's done with the polycars. He's done the 312s. So, the 330 or, P4, what you want to call it. But yeah, no, I haven't seen one. So, I know what I'm doing after this scene.
There were 3 cars announced in this. This is just a screenshot, so I can't forward it or backward it. But there were 3 cars announced. Lola T70 Mark III, which is the coupe, a commemorative edition. So it's just another livery, 480 pieces. This car was announced, and a Mustang GT 500, which is I think it's a 68 body style. So it's an older Mustang. It's not the current Mustang. So those 3 were announced today on Slot Car Today.
Wow.
You have pictures of the other 2?
I can get the screenshot. I don't know if I can share my webpage. I'll get the screenshot in just a second and put my hand back up.
I was going to say you should be able to share the website just like you share a picture. So once you get that,
does that come up?
Well, you got to stop the share on the picture first.
Stop and then share again. Yeah.
And then when you choose to share, choose your web browser.
If you're still looking for that Lotus Europa, Jim, look for kits by Dieter Jens or Fine Design. Sorry?
Yeah, I've looked a lot and I can't find it because it's out of production.
Did you look under Fine Design?
No.
Fine Design makes the kits.
Okay, that's the name, Fine Design?
FEIN.
Got it.
German design.
Got it. I will definitely look for that. Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
See these new thunder slots.
You see why I'm worried, folks? You see why I'm worried?
Now, do you see my screen now?
Yeah. There you
Oh, yeah.
The commemorative edition Lola T70, which I think it says 480 pieces. And then there's the Ferrari, and there's the Mustang.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
The Ferrari is spring. The Lola, I think, is this year. You can go onto Slot Car today and read it, but those are the three that were just announced this morning. So this is the one that caught my eye.
Yeah.
And then this doesn't really fit in any class that I race, but it's a cool car.
It's in a class I race.
That's gonna be a favorite in muscle car series.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Electric
totally,
is gonna be done.
Yeah, it's gonna totally just gonna totally topple over the Scalextric Pioneer dominance.
You're gonna have to make a special rule like Scalextric only or something.
Yeah,
it's not a Trans Am car per se, so it doesn't really fit in a racing class. It's a street car.
Yeah,
yeah, you just put a number on it, you're good to go.
Yeah,
well, that's true.
It was a rental.
You got it, Jeremy. Put Hertz on it.
The Hertz on the side and go for it.
Once again, though, that announcement sort of hammers home, if you read between the lines, the size of the hobby. We're going to produce 480 of these kits worldwide.
Yeah.
It
sounds like a small amount, but that's probably
not a whole time.
Yeah, that's about the normal amount, right?
Well, that's yep.
Well, those BMWs that I have, the Group 5 with the basically the bubble livery, those were they made the blue one as a regular car, and then the extra colors, those were 96 only for the whole world.
Right.
And I don't think they even sold that many because it just wasn't a popular car. But
right.
That's why 3D printing is going to be the next. It's just do the design work. Don't even got to bother with injection molding. Just print it once it gets better. Anywho, let's go ahead and do the car drawing, and then we'll do the rest of the chatting about things. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll do another random.org. I'm going to go down the list, and again, I apologize if you're not in the list, but I did my damnedest to make sure everybody who commented is in the list. So we got the Da Vinci Kid, KG, Jeremy, Alan, Pebblestone Model Car Circuit, Frank, Bob, Paul, Starfleet Grad, Dewan, Don Young, Jeremy, Car Fun mostly, as we know, Wayne, and Kyle Daly. He's not going to win again. Courtney Smith, DC Orr, Andrew Westfall, Cube Racing, Dana G, Tech TTF, John D, Neil, Ken, Michael, and Russell. Michael Marty is one person. So, just like before, I'm going to hit randomize, and the person at the top of the list is our wiener. Neil!
Oh,
awesome. Neil is our wiener, so he's going to get, I'll work with him, obviously, and get him a MR slot car, Porsche 911 GT1 Evo, and he will
one time he doesn't show up for the chat.
Right, he's pretty regular. Hopefully everything's okay with him. Maybe he'll be, maybe he's racing with the other New Jersey guy. But
do you already have these, Greg? Do you
I think he have mostly, doesn't he have mostly Carrera stuff? I don't know what his collection comprised of.
Yeah, no. I was saying, do you have the 911 already?
Yes, I do. That's my beautiful blue and yellow Marlboro livery car that I showed off a couple of times. That's the 911 GT1 Evo Mr. Slot car.
That's the one you're giving out?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
If that was what you're asking, no, I do not have the one that I'm giving away. Are they running short?
No, just, are you going to get it from Alan?
I like to support local hobby stores, so if Neil has a local hobby store.
Okay, no, that's fine.
If I get it from Alan, what should I know?
No, well, nothing really. I mean, Alan, I just wondered because I know how much these cost when they go out to the various.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, no, that which is, if you do get stuck on any of the Mr. Slot Car stuff ever, I have a slight in there.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We got our inside man if necessary. We'll tap that, but hopefully that's not needed.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Chris. So that out of the way, do we have any other things, or should I delve into my list of topics?
I have one. If I can show a thing on a show and tell, I was looking for another picture and I found this picture.
Show away.
I'm not sure if I ever showed you guys this or not. If I have, let me know and I will go away and hide. Have I shown that before?
No.
I've seen it, but I don't know if you shared it. So I'd like to hear how you describe this.
This is Pasadena Hobbies. And it was by far the world's largest slot car track ever. You can see this goes way down to the end and around a monster bank and back and forth and up and down and around and around and around.
That is insane. Do you know what the length of it was?
Oh, it was like close to 500 feet, I think, Greg. It was
gonna say, it's got to be up there.
Stupid. Well, the problem was that some of the driver's panels were down like this end.
Yeah, you can see.
And then you had to go upstairs way down to the end of the, so like you're here ish, your car comes off, so you got to go up the stairs to this level.
Crash and dash. Oh my God.
Down here, maybe the inside where your car came off in the bank and then rolled down the bank to the center of the track. Put your car back in and then come down and go down the stairs. And then by that time, your time's up. So, but a pretty cool track. I just had this picture lying around. I was looking for something else and saw it. And I thought, I wonder if the guys have ever seen this. So
I have actually seen that picture before, but it's not until somebody puts a pointer in the top right corner and says, that's the track all the way up there.
Yeah, not the best picture, but can you, is that bigger? Can you see that?
That's about the same. That's 10 lanes, right?
Yeah. And yeah, the bank is like way, the longest street was 90 feet. And
what was it? Any idea what the lap times were?
Depends. That's completely irrelevant, depending on the car.
Yeah.
20 minutes plus
24 hours
for a electric car.
Where was this located at? You said Pasadena. Was that in California?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This closed, I believe, in the early 70s. Anyway, that's all I wanted to.
Chris, is that the building that's now a laundromat?
I do not know.
Oh, okay.
I do not know.
Wow, boy. And Jeremy, you were worried about waist height.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about ladders and climbing and
stairs,
obstacles,
Yeah,
cardio.
Put on this harness if you really want to get your deslotted car off. It's like
rappel
over there.
Jim,
Suddenly you're starring as Superman in a musical.
Yeah, Jim, you were doing some research on the old covers. I mean, the Inglewood group.
MESAC, yeah.
MESAC. I did see an article, 2 articles that was linked in one of the slot.
There's various articles on the track when it was in operation.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the history of the club, but
Right.
there's nothing on what happened to it.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, hopefully you find out.
Well, between us, I know what happened to it, but the gentleman has asked me not to talk about it, and that's why I'm trying to get some information and put something together. And my goal is to do like the Dale Earnhardt series that he's doing on ghost tracks or lost tracks or whatever he calls it, and do the same thing with MESAC. And the guy that knows what actually happened to it wants to make sure it's done with respect.
Sure.
And because
Right.
it's a one of a kind. It's basically in slot car racing, it's a treasure. And he doesn't want just somebody, well, you know, it's in the dumpster, so whatever. So he wants to do it right, and he's allowed me to do it because I've known him for a long time. And so I'm
Because
trying
that club had some really illustrious members. I mean, didn't Larry Shinoda wasn't he a member?
I don't know, Don. Maybe Chris knows. I don't think I've seen his. I know who he is, but I don't think I've seen his name in MESAC.
Yeah, Larry was a Detroit boy.
Yeah, but I've seen pictures of him at the track racing, though, Chris.
Well, I mean, he may very well have been an honorary, or I don't know. It would seem to me an honorary membership because Larry was a Detroit designer,
right?
And the track was in California. So I don't.
The guy that I've tracked down, his name is Ed Hooten, And if you Google his name, I've Googled him, and he apparently was the person that ran the track when the track was getting ready to be closed. And he, according to Google, he's 82 and lives in Prescott, Arizona. And there's a phone number for him. I just kind of afraid to just to cold call the guy. And so I'm trying to find out some things before, at some point I may just do that, just cold call him and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm trying to do.
Jim, sorry to interrupt. What about Jim Russell's son? Because Jim Russell did all of the photography for Rusket on MISAC, did he not?
I'm not sure on that. The other guy that knows too is the owner of TrueScale, because he was involved in that. And most of the people, unfortunately, have passed away. So there's a few left. There's actually a friend of mine up here in Sacramento. Chris may know him, Jim Fowler, who races D3. Dennis would know him. He actually raced there in the 70s. So I'm doing it's become a big project, and I'm still working on it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because I know that if you look at the box photography, for example, for like Rusket, the Eagle, for example, that was taken, I'm sure, at MISAC.
Yeah, I think Chris Chan would know about it, but he's passed away.
Yeah.
And some of the other members have passed away.
Do you have contact information for Victor Ferguson?
I can get, it's on his website.
Okay.
TrueScale, yeah.
Victor's TrueScale, as you know. So
yeah, that's who I was referring to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When I hear MISAC, I get so excited because I remember, like, in model car magazines, just those 2 to 4 page spreads and just drooling over those photos, going, "Oh my goodness, what a
it's just amazing." And like I said, my goal is probably to do a 2-part: the club as it existed when it was running, and then what actually happened to it in the end.
Well, it's something to look forward to. I'm gonna take a moment to do a little cross promotion. I saw Travis, that slot car guy, joined in. It's got to be dark 30 where you're at right about now, huh, Travis? Looks like he's rubbing his eyes just waking up in the morning.
I missed the 5 a.m. wake up. Sorry, mate.
No worries. Next week it's at the later time, so hopefully we'll see you then. Travis, of course, has a great YouTube channel, That Slot Car Guy, worth subscribing to and visiting. I also wanted to mention the 1/43rd scale slot car Zoom chat that Lloyd runs. It seems that things have slowed down a little bit on the 1/43rd. Some of the guys, the French guys and German guys, have decided to do their own 1/43rd slot car chat so that they can primarily speak their native languages, which makes perfect sense. But that's left Lloyd a little bit in the lurch. So if anybody's out there wanting to know or contribute to 1/43rd scale slot car racing, see what people are doing, if that's your thing, by all means, search for 1/43rd scale slot car Zoom chat. He posts links to his chat on Slot Forum and SlotRacer.online, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other places. Not hard to find. He does them Monday, so in the US it's around, he does a noon chat and a 1 p.m. chat because he's limited to 40 minutes. So he basically does noon for my time, so that's Pacific, so 3 o'clock Eastern time. But his links will give you the actual time depending on what part of the world you're in.
And Travis just tried some 43rd cars around his track.
1/43rd is great, and I kind of wanted to point out that although that's not what I spend my hobby time on, there's more to 143rd than Carrera Go, right? If Carrera Go is your exposure to 143rd, then don't just assume that's where 143rd is. They're building scratch-built chassis, they're doing 3D printed chassis, they're doing brass chassis. You can get just as deep into 143rd as you can in 124th and 132nd and HO scale. It's all about, do you want to explore that scale because it's smaller than 132nd or bigger than HO or whatever? Go ahead, dive in, join the chat, and they'll be happy to show you some really cool 143rd scale cars, bodies, chassis, racing.
And to your point, it's the only way to make a true 132nd scale Mini.
Yeah, I attended his chat on Monday, which is why I knew that it's kind of slow. Garth is joining in on that, and he's doing a lot of 143rd experimenting. you know, and that was one of the jokes was, you know, a 1/32 scale Mini is basically a 1/43 scale car, and they actually use 1/32 scale Mini parts for a variety of 1/43 scale cars. You know, Mini wheels are great 1/43 scale wheels for other cars, stuff like that. You know, sourcing parts. You know, if you're getting into 1/43 and you want to have a chat with other 1/43 guys, join in Lloyd's chat. It's you'll get all kinds of great information there.
They still make those Kyosho
The D
1/43.
slots, yeah, terrible name, Kyosho
Yeah.
D slot. I don't know if they still make them. I grabbed one because it seemed like they were
It was
gonna.
really hyped up for a while, but then it just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I don't think they are. Garth, maybe you know if Lloyd has mentioned the Kyosho D slot. They're basically based on the D Nano RC bodies, but with a slot car body. Has that ever come up in the 1/43 scale Zoom chat once or twice? Do you know if they're still actually making those or selling them, or is it just going to be aftermarket on eBay kind of thing? You're muted.
I think this, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're still around.
Yeah. And
I think they
Leo's
stopped making them.
Are they?
They don't. Yeah, they don't make them anymore.
Okay.
I think they stopped about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, sounds about
The
right.
the bodies are still around, as you see on eBay. You can get bodies like this. Is the remote control version. What do you call them? Z.
D Nano.
Yeah, D Nano. This is a D Nano body, but it clips onto the D slot chassis.
Yeah. So if you can get your hands on a D slot chassis, you can swap bodies out fairly easily. They try to keep that modular enough that you can do that pretty much. And of course, Leo is another 1/43. Pretty deep into the one, relatively deep, at least for most of us, into the 1/43 scale thing. But you know, sometimes you just can't attend a live chat, you know, just because of life and other things, and that's just the way it is. But if you can and you're interested in 1/43, hit up Lloyd's channel. Does anybody else have any cross promotion they want to toss in before we take some more hands? Nope. Okay, so Big Den has had a hand up. Do you got a great joke for us, Big Den, or do you want to share or talk about something?
Pretty boring this time around, Chris. No, I was just getting back to Jim's MESAC, project. I can remember seeing in Model Car and Track way back. One of the things that impressed me, that it was modular, how they could change the layout. I think that's, I'm right in that.
Yeah, you're right. They had these sliding sections, right? Right, Dan? Yeah.
The name Chris Chan was brought up. I've just, a couple of meetings ago, I mentioned that I'd come across some old Model Car Science, and Chris Chan did a lot of articles in those, so I was sad to hear he's not with us anymore. And Jim, I had a look at that Lotus Europa Group 5. Boy, is that some piece of machinery. It's a really tricky looking body, but I think it's only available from Finders, in 24 scale or something like that. So
No, he did make it in 32nd, but it just haven't
did
made
he?
it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anybody got a picture handy? Because I have no idea what this car looks like.
A real car?
Yeah.
I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can share screen, Chris. Hang on.
It was made by Zaxpeed.
Yeah, and the Europas in real, I mean, they were so small.
Yeah, it's got Zaxpeed written all over it, hasn't it?
You got it? I've got it up if you don't.
Yeah, I think I've got it on there now. Can you see my screen there?
Yep, the Minolta.
Yeah, Minolta, yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah, crikey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I'd love to turn up a race meeting sometime with that on a sideways chassis. That'd give them all a bit of a shake up, I reckon.
That was my idea.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Someone else can jump in.
Anybody got a picture of Old Yeller? Because I have no idea what that thing looked like either.
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Go ahead and share that, Frank.
It was on my phone. Let's see.
Okay, let me spotlight you so we can see that. Oh, okay.
And that body is available through a company called AAA, not AAA, that's who I used to work for, AA Bodies.
Interesting.
So that is an old Yeller.
Today, I was today old when I learned what old Yeller looked like.
If you're interested in cars of that era, and you go to my, as long as we're cross promoting my YouTube channel, I have a video that I shot at the Monterey Historic Races on the 70th anniversary of the Pebble Beach Road Racing.
What were you showing there, John? Oh, I threw you off.
Okay, it's a
Hold it right up in front of your face.
It's a 1/43rd scale Meba Toys die-cast Lotus Europa from probably about 1975 or something like that.
That's an S1. It looks like in the late 60s.
And
Oh, that's cool. There we go.
That's the early version, which had a Renault engine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Renault won't go engine.
Won't go.
Mine had 82
this
horsepower.
is a twin cam. This one is
yeah. Oh, nice.
Twin cam Ford model. But yeah, I think originally they were Renault engines.
Very cool. And Jim, what's the name of your YouTube channel? Make it easier for people to find it.
NorCal Slot Car Scene.
NorCal Slot Car Scene. And feel free to toss a link into the chat so that I don't forget to put it in the chat, in the YouTube description box.
There's also a video in there of they had pre-1920 cars at Monterey also. I have a video on those as well as the Pebble Beach Racing.
Yeah, I've been watching. I subscribed a few weeks ago, and I've been watching your videos, since you did that presentation for us. Lots of great stuff on the NorCal Slot Car Scene YouTube channel.
Jim, are you going to come down for the vintage race at Auto Club Speedway next month?
I wasn't aware of one. I'll have to look it up and see.
SVRA, I think it is.
SVRA is at Willow Springs in November, but and I can't make that race.
There's a vintage race.
I'll have to check. Vintage racing, for some reason in California, always decides to have 2 or 3 races in the same state on the same day.
On the same, yeah. Isn't that great?
Because they can.
Good point.
That's true, California. Oh, John's got something else to show. Hold on, let me spotlight that.
Oh yeah, that's a great kit. Now, does the kit have the windows in or out? Like, is it a solid windows, or does it actually have windows, John?
Solid windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked up 2. There were 2 of them with the box. See the box? That's they're Hawk models, and have one that's sort of assembled. They're tiny little things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
I just had it taped together. I'm trying some different sort of glue to do it. But anyway, I was thinking these might be a good something. John might be able to make a resin car using these as a.
Yeah, I mean, half the work is done since the windshield's already there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And now the back glass back here, the deck is apparently never came in the kit. I don't know.
Right.
What the deal was. But I got a couple of them for about $12. So 1965. There, it's the car. It's a Maserati Tipo 151. This particular body style is a /3, 151/3. They make about 6 of them total, and they were very fast, but they were not successful.
You're gonna have to get in line. John's pretty busy.
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
We're coming down to 10 minutes left. I'm gonna throw one topic out there. We should be able to cover.
Wayne's had his hand up for a while.
For a while, yeah, Wayne.
Oh, geez. I keep forgetting to look at the non-camera list. Wayne, do you got some input or a new thing for us?
It's like a circle back, really. I've been suffering most of the evening with a message that says I've got low network bandwidth. So I've been quite quiet, and the chat has been intermittent for me. But this came up as a one in the post chat a couple of weeks ago, and I just thought I'd show it to the assembled masses for those who disappear straight away at the end of the chat. It's a little bit off topic, but it's just right up our street, and no one's shown anything like this yet.
Oh yeah, Jeremy was showing off his that he got.
Jeremy's got a brand new one, Wayne.
Hey, you're way too late, Wayne. Way too late.
Yeah.
You're a bit late
I've
to the
actually
party on
owned
that
this.
one.
I've actually owned this for
Boring.
20 years, maybe. I got this. I got this when I used to race HO. So I got this in the early 2000s. I've probably had it 15 years. And I didn't know that Jeremy had shown one off, so I apologize for that. I must have missed that bit.
That's
I
why you got the network message.
Yeah, probably. Did he show it off today?
Yeah. Just earlier.
Oh, sorry. That'll be why then. He was part of the post chat where it came up. So I'm pleased you've managed to get one.
Yeah. I got it from your idea, and then I just looked and found one on eBay. I was like, here we go.
How much did it cost you?
I think I got it like $25.
That's not bad.
No, not at all.
It functions, yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know, well, they do know what it is because Jeremy's already discussed it. Does it work right? Does it work well for you, Jeremy?
I haven't got a chance to test it out yet. I mean, I don't want to shoot it at my kids or out at cars going by the street. So I'll give it a test in a week or so.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know it had been done. So anyway, that was what I want. That was all I wanted to show tonight.
Yeah, because Wayne, Jeremy has to be careful in the U.S. when you point that, someone will shoot back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Depends on where you live, I imagine.
I would be insulted if they didn't shoot back.
Well, I see Petrucci has an electronic hand up. Do you got something else for us today, Petrucci?
Yeah, I just got a quick question. You know, when you're painting the white kits, what sort of masking tape do you use? Any special tape, masking tape, or?
I've had the best luck with Tamiya, believe it or not. It does a very nice crisp line, and then don't forget to take it off before the paint cures. You want the paint to be wet when you remove it.
What's it called again?
Oh, Tamiya. You know the
Tamiya.
Yeah, the Tamiya, and it comes in different widths. Yeah.
Oh, Tamiya.
Tamiya. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Tamiya. The
model
tomato,
guys.
Tomato, potato, potato.
That's the best one, is it?
Yeah, I've had the best results with it. Yeah.
A little tip for any masking. Once you put your masking tape on, if you get yourself a can of clear and just do a dust coat on the edge of the masking tape with clear, that'll completely seal that edge, so you'll get no bleed throughs.
No, thank you.
That is a good tip.
That's next task. There we go, painting. Thank you very much.
I know some guys will also do, like if they're doing multiple colors, they'll do the prior color. They'll do the new mask, and then they'll do the previous color real quick as a dust coat before they paint on the next color that's to be masked off to reduce that bleeding effect of the new color. Is that what you're working on, Petrucci?
No, my friend the driver used to race with me in my Trek here. This was a white Kia, and he said, "Oh, you got anything I can do?" So I'll give him this one, and this is what he painted.
Looks good to me. Just needs to be yellow instead of red.
Yeah, I realise. So I got some more white kits. I thought, well, I got the spray gun. Yes, you know, I thought might as well have a go.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, I mean, I've not done a lot of painting, but I also use the Tamiya tape, and it has done a great job for me. I'm just terrible at it. It's not the tape's fault, that's for sure. So we're down to the last few minutes. Does anybody else have any last minute questions? I don't think I'll bother with the topic that I was going to bring up now. Hopefully everybody's happy with Wayne not winning the car again.
Jeremy has something he wants to show.
What do you got, Jeremy?
I didn't bring that up on purpose. My fingers were crossed, mind you.
It's too much of a coincidence. So John Webber's T-shirt, and then I got this today.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I just
very nice.
Slot it. Alfa Romeo. Just the color scheme. I cry. It's lovely.
There's nothing like a brand new slot car.
You can't beat a red car with black wheels.
Yeah, you can. Could be a blue car with yellow wheels.
Yeah. Every day.
Sorry.
That's a far cry from the Skelectrix version, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Wasn't the Skelectric one back when before they started doing proper chassis? What do you got, John? Oh, the Auto Art. Yeah, they always make beautiful bodies.
Yeah, it's an Auto Art GTAM, Alfa Romeo GTAM. Hadn't been out.
A lovely car.
Beautiful car, but be really careful with that chassis. It's a hard plastic and it breaks very, very, very easily. Don't put much pressure on the chassis at all or the guide.
Yeah, basically just leave it in the box.
Leave it in the box, put it on the queen shelf.
Yep.
Or build a chassis for it. How about
That's
that?
where mine is.
Yeah.
It's almost a 1/43 scale body. It's very small.
Yeah, well, they were tiny cars, though, weren't they, Frank?
I think so.
Yes.
They are very small cars. Smaller than a Golf. Really.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're bigger.
It's a little bit, not a whole lot.
And those you can probably race. You don't have to put those on the shelf.
The motor is in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen 3D printed chassis for those.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
I think I'm going to go ahead and end the show here, and of course we will continue to chit chat about random things. For everybody else out there, come and join the show, and for now we'll say bye-bye. Bye.